Hey guys, welcome to Shah-Shank Redemption. My name is Shaheen. I am an Iranian person residing in the United States. I grew up in Tehran, Iran, and moved to the United States to go to the graduate program in philosophy at a little university down in Texas. And anyway, I've been here in the United States for quite a while now. And I thought I would start this channel because I have a lot of things to say about the American society and more specifically American politics. And I've been Facebooking and blogging, and I have a limited audience. So I thought I would start this YouTube channel and maybe reach out to a wider audience. Maybe you guys will like what I have to say. Let me try to locate myself a little bit. I'm making these videos, I'm starting this channel because I feel like there is a very fundamental problem in American society today. And I've been thinking about this for a long time, and I've been researching American politics for almost a decade now. The pattern that I've noticed in all of these issues is that I feel like the left and the right are both going crazy, and they're both being extremely unwilling to speak to each other. And that is a problem that I think I'm not the first to notice. I think other people have noticed this. That for some reason there's not enough communication between people who have differing opinions across the political spectrum. And the quality of discourse is somehow really low, unfortunately. And I think there are a lot of people out there like me who are willing to who are really eager to, not just willing, but eager to, just sit down and have a conversation and, talk about issues with the understanding that sometimes when you talk about issues, you explore different ideas, and some of them might sound uncomfortable or controversial or whatever. We welcome those, and we don't fear ideas. We just look at them, and if they're stupid, then we announce that they're stupid. There's nothing to fear in this exploration of ideas. I know that there are a lot of people out there who feel the same way. I guess I would consider myself a disaffected liberal if I was ever a liberal. The problem is I've never been a liberal, and I've never been a conservative either. But I look at the political spectrum today, and however you want to parse it out or carve it out into left and right, liberal and conservative, whatever you want to call that. I do believe that there's a fairly one-dimensional axis. Maybe you can divide it into perhaps two dimensions, but overall there's there's a great amount of rigidity in the political spectrum. And I look across the political spectrum, and I think they're both going crazy, like I said, and they're being very irrational. I hate to use this word irrational, but I think that I don't know, whatever you call that, it's just, I think the root of it is this problem of assigning this immediate moral judgment to certain descriptive beliefs. And I think that happens both on the left and on the right. But I feel like more so on the left, and more recently, a lot more on the left. This problem exists that, certain descriptive beliefs certain just simple disagreements about descriptive facts, about facts of matter, about empirical data, can sometimes be offensive to people. And this unfortunately makes it very difficult to explore different ideas and to look at empirical facts with an open mind, and just see what's actually happening. There is no reason, for example, if people are getting richer, for us to claim that they're getting poorer. That's just ridiculous. I mean, you can't justify this with good intentions. You can't say, well, my goal is to help poor people, or those who are less well off, so I'm going to perpetuate a lie that says people are getting poorer. That's ridiculous. No, you have to start with the truth and then go from there. I mean, I'd use this rich and poor as just an example, but my point is there is never a reason to endorse falsehood for any sort of cause. That's what I believe at the core, and therefore I'm willing to listen to any idea, regardless of what it is. And I trust my reason, my judgment, that I can look at it, and if the arguments for it are weaker than the arguments against it, then I will reject it. And if the arguments for it are stronger, then I'll accept it. So there's no reason for me to be scared of the idea, or scared of someone stating it. And again, I repeat that both sides, conservatives and liberals, do this kind of moral judgment, right, that really gets in the way of conversation. And it also manifests itself in terms of making assumptions about your opponent's motives. When someone disagrees with you, you make assumptions. They immediately make assumptions about the moral character of the person, as if this disagreement over facts or over whatever it is somehow reflects on their humanity and on their morality. And this is fundamentally what prevents people from talking, so that you never see liberals and conservatives really talking. I mean, you turn on CNN and there's a liberal guy and a conservative guy, or a Trump guy and whatever, and they're talking to each other, but that's not really talking. I mean, even when they're talking, they're not really talking. Or you've seen these videos of people on the street trying to talk to each other, and I think that's great. That's beautiful. I'm glad if that's happening more. I don't know if that's happening more, or we're just catching it on camera more. But oftentimes, you still feel like even then they're still not talking to each other. You know what I mean? They're talking past each other, as it were. And a lot of it comes from this immediate leap that people make, this jump that people make from, you disagree with me, therefore you're a bad person. You must be either evil in your intentions, have ulterior motives for saying these things, or you're just flat out stupid, you're just incapable of grasping certain things, or you're somehow just really fatally ignorant, like there are certain fundamental facts that you don't know. And oftentimes none of those is true. Oftentimes your opponent is none of those things. They're not somehow morally inferior to you. They're not somehow intellectually inferior to you, and they're not somehow informationally. I mean, there might be certain things that you know that they don't know, and often it goes both ways. Certain facts that you often hear from liberals only or from conservatives only, but it's not as though they're somehow like they have some really deep, really far-reaching and extreme gap in knowledge. It's not as though there's something there's so many basic facts that that they don't. Oftentimes it's mutual sort of ignorance of the other side's facts or various sorts of arguments and pieces of evidence. So I just thought that I would start this channel. I know there might be a lot of people out there who feel the same way about me. I hope this video reaches you guys. Again, I would call myself a disaffected liberal, except I'm not really, I've never been a liberal to be disaffected from it. I've never been a conservative either, but I do see a lot of symmetry, but I also think that the left and the liberals are recently, they're just really going towards an extreme. So I feel sympathy towards a lot of people on YouTube. Like I think I mentioned Dave Rubin, Matt Christensen, a lot of these people that I like watching, and the whole anti-SJW movement. I feel sympathy towards those, and I think that's not because I'm disaffected liberal in that sense, but because I really feel strongly about freedom of speech, like I was saying, and just free exchange of ideas. So that's where I think we find common ground, and that's a very pretty good common ground to have with a lot of people. So I thought hopefully I can reach out to you and provide my own perspective. Like I said, I'm from Tehran, Iran originally, but that's not really going to affect much of what I'm going to say. I'll probably make a video about Trump's travel ban, and that will of course be informed by the fact that I come from Iran. But apart from that video, everything else that I want to say is not really affected by where I come from, except it puts me in an interesting position because a lot of my positions aren't what you would expect from someone in my category. My method is to separate things by policy or by issue, and then look at it separately and, make a judgment about it without trying to reach an overarching narrative, or any sort of like ideology out of it. Just look at each issue separately and see if it's true or false, or see what you think about it. So that's kind of how I go about it, and yeah, you'll probably see that in my videos in the future. I think that's all I have to say for this beginning video. I think I introduced myself enough for you to know where I'm coming from. I'm going to be talking about a lot of issues, a lot of economic issues, social issues, like I said, mostly related to American politics. Well, thanks for watching. Let me know how I did. Let me know if the light was good, if the sound was good, if the quality is good. This is my first time doing this, so help me out here, and please support me however you can. Subscribe, I really appreciate it. Like it, comment, share it with your friends, and I'll see you next time.